apply your own thinking because you cannot you cannot just start exporting and developing those markets that you have seen on the as a result of your search of the database. You have to first of all ask yourself whether you have any connections in the markets, or whether you can relatively quickly establish those connections. You should also consider your budget, whether you have budget to develop those markets. You wanted to ask yourself whether your product, specifically your product, not necessarily this category, but specifically your product, will it be competitive in those export markets? And when we talk about competitiveness, we talk not only about the price, but we also talk about the quality. We also talk about the delivery timelines, and all the factors of this nature other than price. Some products may be purchased by price, but most of them, especially value-added food products, they aren't really purchased based on solely on price, but rather on either features or quality or maybe longevity of the product. And obviously, this is not a complete list. Feel free to add your own criteria to that. Just don't be. Just don't think that you can take the list of the markets and start expanding there right away. Assess your skills and resources first, and then pick those markets where you think you have access to and where you can get access relatively quicker. Make sense? Okay, looks like it does. Okay, now let's now talk about the risks. International business development is a risky business, and there's more risk in that compared to domestic business development. First of all, what may happen to you when you develop export sales and with trading international is that you actually won't be able to sell anything. It takes time to develop connections, it takes time to develop relationships, and it takes time to understand foreign market at the degree enough for you to be comfortable and be successful in the export market. So try to look into your key skills and capabilities, and it's not just language skills or communication skills. As the business owner or the person in the business who works for the business who's in charge of developing export sales, you have to make sure that you have strong sales skills and marketing skills and presentation skills. It's not that much of a difference with domestic trade. Again, you have to convince your potential buyer to buy from you, to get to sign a contract with you. And in order to be successful, you need that. You need sales and marketing skills. If you don't have that, if you don't have those, that's fine. Look into your organization. Who else may have these skills? All of the skills are learnable, of course, and in this list of skills, you actually don't see knowledge of the international trade, logistics, and that kind of thing, because and we're going to cover that later on, because you don't really need that knowledge is very good, but it's not a critical success factor. So what you see here is the critical success factors. Now, speaking about financing, this is also something that is important. When you are exporter and when you get your export orders finally, then you have to increase your production. You have to make sure that your quality is consistent, and you have to invest money in expanding your operation. So you have to have a source of this money. But even before, you should have a budget to develop your export markets, to visit markets, to go to the shows, maybe to run mail campaigns or other marketing campaigns in the target market. So your budget has to be there, and I'm not even talking about traveling to negotiate with potential customer, because nobody will pay you for the ticket. This is something that is out-of-pocket cost of your or your business, and your customer won't pay you for that. Any questions on critical factors to be able to sell products overseas? Maybe somebody wants to add to this list. Okay. Don't be shy. We can discuss.
I guess my question would
sure.
be is, what I'm finding in our business is that taking advantage of the Canadian dollar, the fact that it is down so drastically, I'm looking at opportunities within the U.S. market because it's very desirable and looking at something that's $0.25 on the dollar. That's a premium for them because it allows them to leverage their purchasing. So that's something that we're looking at right now. And I'm just trying to find markets that are geographically desirable from a proximity standpoint from our facility where we have a ship to. So just along those lines. And they have something to do with those numbers and the spike in the U.S. In terms of 2014, depending when those numbers were extrapolated as to, how much of an impact it was if the dollar was higher or Canadian so yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. The only comment here is that be careful with relying on currency and exchange rate because it fluctuates. There's nobody that can predict what the exchange rate is going to be tomorrow. So just be careful.
On that last point as well, I mean, there are tools, and I think that's something that I'm enjoying with Export Development Canada, you can see, by the way, but I don't know if, Shelley, you want me to speak to some of this after, but in any event, but I think the point on currency is really important. We review financials all the day from exporters, and, FX losses, there's the odd year where you might have an FX gain, but most financials we see from companies who export is FX losses. There are tools available for exporters to lock in through hedging, through rather simple solutions. I mean, most of the banks have an offering for that. They don't really coach you through the process. So if you've never developed an FX strategy, I think as part of your risk management strategy, that's critically important. I'm happy to share some resources of organizations out there who actually offer that.
No, go ahead, continue.
Perfect. On the next slide. Sorry, Igor.
No, that's well, basically.
I wasn't reading ahead.
Yeah, basically, we've got this covered already. So this strategy to use to mitigate currency risk is called hedging. So basically, hedging is about locking the exchange rate for a certain period of time, and no matter how currency fluctuates, you get the currency at the fixed rate. Other risk that is quite often appearing in especially developing markets is political risk. There are many reasons why countries may go politically unstable, and when they go politically unstable, they typically shut down their ports, airports, so your product may stuck on the export markets. Although in many cases, depending on the terms of trade, depending on the terms and conditions that you negotiated with your buyer, in many cases, as an exporter, you don't really care about what happens in the export market because it's the responsibility of your buyer to either deliver or clear the product there. But it may still be important for you. And there are strategies. There's political risk insurance. That will hear later from you guys, I believe. Natural risk is the other one that may happen, and that happens quite often. Your product, when it is exported overseas, goes through many different climate zones, goes through a great geographic distance, and anything can happen during that product due to the natural factors or due to the mishandling, for example. So you can also insure your product while it is in transit, and you can get the compensation if the product is lost or stolen or broken. Okay, and most of the carriers and freight forwarders, they provide and offer this insurance. It's inexpensive, and we encourage you to buy this insurance even if you ship to the next province. Payment risk is the other special risk in international trade. Although in international trade it's customary to wait, say 30 or 60 days to get paid, you still have to make sure that you get paid in the end. And there are a couple of strategies you can use. You can use receivables insurance. So basically, this is insurance against the invoice that you issue to the foreign buyer. In the event that foreign buyer doesn't pay, you get the compensation. And it's, I think, up to 90%, right?
Yes.
Yeah, up to 90%, right? The other strategy is to use letter of credits. Letters of credits, they are not the letters that we send to each other, but they are special payment instruments. We're going to talk about them later on in more detail. But as of right now, you should understand that when you use this instrument, these letters of credit, you transfer the responsibility of payment from your buyer directly to the bank of your buyer and your bank. So you involve banks in the transaction, and then they will kind of talk to each other and they sort out the payments and non-payments. Contract is the other risk mitigation strategy. Again, we'll talk about contract later on tomorrow. We'll talk more about contract, but as of now, we should know that your contract must be in writing with the foreign buyer. Make sure that it's in writing, and make sure that it is it describes the payment procedure in as detailed manner as possible. But don't just go with handshake or email communication. Make sure that the buyer signs the contract, signs their obligations. Any questions on risks? Any other risks that you think?
One thing you may want to consider is if you're buying something that's a commodity, especially in the food market, and you're selling a finished product, and you're locking in the price of the food, the finished product, your cost of your ingredients might be jumping up and down too. So there's ways to lock it in on some markets, not always. There's no futures market on whey protein.
Very good point.
Question I have is, and you might cover later, is just as far as on when you have delivery into another country, if they have delay on unloading your stuff, how do you cover yourself as far as if there's extra costs incurred for them to take longer to unload the containers or your product?
It depends on the term of the international trade. We're going to cover them in more detail tomorrow, but for now I can tell you that depending on the term, it may be your responsibility as an exporter, but it may not necessarily be your responsibility. If you choose the right term, then these delays will be responsibility of your buyer.
Yeah, you must be Todd. Yeah. Todd on the phone fairly regularly. And I think part of the insurance coverage that you talked about in receivables coverage, you can actually partially offset that as well. For instance, if your goods get to a port and suddenly they close the border and you're responsible for demurrage costs, right? Those can escalate and become extremely expensive. And, put the transaction underwater. That can be partly offset through receivable insurance.
Okay, now let's take a short break. After the break, we'll hear EDC presentation, and then we'll continue.
More about the contracts, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was your green tea or is this your bottle?
All the contract.
Where's your export?
Right now, we don't.
Yeah, she was good.
Okay. Interesting. What do you, were you planning on first?
Well, there is definitely market.
We work with our market.
I'm not sure.